I met my husband. We met when we were 15. And then
What?
I
Yes.
know.
Having ice cream? Like, how do you meet a 15?
I was actually an ice cream girl. What? I worked at Baskin Robbins. I was scooping ice cream.
21 flavors, baby. 21 flavors.
31.
31. Okay, so I've known Shantelle for about 4 or 5 years at least.
Yeah.
Recently we had brunch and she showed me a before photo. I was
Yeah.
like, Shantelle, I don't remember seeing you like this ever.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's wild. Like
Yeah.
I see her like this with her new face. And
Looks
this is
fabulous.
She's
this
not
is
even
the only,
2. Oh, no, she is 2. She's officially 2.
This
She's
is the
2.
only thing I remember. Like I do not, how wild our brains function.
Yeah.
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 Right?
Yeah. And look, you know what? I could get a lot of judgment for that too, right? Because everybody's got something to say. Well, why do you need a new face? Why can't you just age the way God wants you to age? Well, because I don't want to.
Exactly.
Because I didn't want to. And that was my prerogative.
And that's your prerogative.
That is my prerogative. So anyway,
No.
talking fast.
I love this.
That's what happens
So
here. Welcome to the club.
going back to the whole Kardashian thing is, and my reality of being a mom and, having that struggle is like, so yeah, from the outside looking in, there were, to a lot of people, it looked like we were always successful because my husband as an actor only went 2 seasons without a series, right? And to anybody that's successful, but keep in mind that's a Canadian actor. He's not out here,
It's not
making
Hollywood cash.
he's not making 15 seasons on Grey's Anatomy. He'd be making $1 million an episode.
Right.
Can we cancel Grey's Anatomy?
It's real. It needs to go. It needs to
Pull the plug.
Yeah, but yeah, anyway, so my whole thing is like, I get people's upset, and I was always in that same seat of being upset. But my point is, coming from a background of entitlement or access and privilege, they didn't need to work hard, right? And so as they've grown, I have to say I do respect that they've taken this and they're not just sitting on, like, they've built empires,
Right.
And and my daughter who's here, who is a stylist, did work for Yeezy. And she worked under Kanye, and she did get to style Travis Scott, and she has encountered that family, and she has only positive things to say about their work ethic and the way they treat the people around them. So because I've kind of had that new inside sort of experience of understanding that they could be so different. Like, I see people in Toronto that have a fraction of the success, and they're complete and utter assholes, and they treat people terribly. So from that angle, I appreciate that they could be complete dicks. And the experience that I've heard firsthand through her working at the company at Yeezy is that they weren't, and even he wasn't. Even Kanye was.
I think
not.
Kanye gets a lot of trash, honestly.
I
and
actually
I
like
really like
Kanye.
Kanye. Me too.
I actually like Kanye, and I like everything that he has to say because he puts
agree.
a lot of truth out there.
Yeah.
And for doing that, they call him crazy. And guess what?
Yeah.
He's not crazy.
It's
But people just don't want to hear what he has to say because they don't like what he's saying. It's against the narrative.
It's against a narrative, but also Kanye is a free thinker. So it's really
Completely.
hard to get him to say one thought because he's thinking 3 thoughts at once.
Yes.
And so he spews it that way.
Well, and
Right.
also too, I think the problem, what we need to normalize is that we need to normalize that not everybody's brain works the same way.
Thank
and
you.
why, if somebody's brain doesn't work the way your brain works, that makes their brain less less gooder? You know what I mean?
Well, of
But you know what I'm
course.
saying? It's like,
When you're different, then you're crazy. It's very dismissive.
it is
It is very
dismissive. It is
because
dismissive.
and that's an easy way of shutting up people, right?
Exactly.
Because the moment you say you're crazy, the conversation ends. There
Completely.
is no more
Yeah.
conversation
You're
to
shut
be
down.
had
Completely.
because you're crazy.
Yeah.
Like the conspiracy theorists.
Yeah,
As
100%.
we know, a term invented by the CIA precisely to shut down that conversation.
Yeah, to shut down conversation.
Let's
Yeah.
burn witches. Let's just burn them all.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think for, my point of view on a lot of the crazy, it's, and I say this in my book a lot too. It's like everybody wants to admire the people at the top, and I specifically address it in discipline because, and we talked about this at brunch, is like discipline's a dirty word with parenting now. Like everybody's like, well,
Yes,
that's just
true.
that's really how they feel. That's what they're okay,
Yes.
cool. Let's acknowledge that that's how they feel, but then let's teach them to not be complete and utter assholes while they
parent.
feel
How about
it.
just parent?
Yeah, so we were big fans of like, okay, I get you feel that way, but how about if we have those feelings but also not tear somebody else down? Like, why do your feelings get to justify you get to behave and treat people any old way
Right.
you want? And I think that we're seeing a lot of that, like you said, behind the keyboard, all that,
Yes.
people being anonymous. You're not anonymous because our words have power, and whether they're positive or negative, you are going to impact whoever receives what you're saying.
Absolutely.
And we need to be
100%.
more careful. And that's really why I wrote the book, because I was sick and tired of like, and you know what? My background, my dad was an alcoholic. He was a runaround. He was abusive. And, I have my own traumas and my own abuse and my own. I should
Did you
be
find that shifted the way you saw parenthood?
100%. Well, first off, I never was going to be a parent because I just didn't think I could do it. Like I was like,
Right.
I have no tools,
I get
right? Like
that. Yeah.
why am I going to even
Right.
think about trying to be a parent? Like,
Right.
what am I going to bring to the table?
Yes.
I was like, you are all too, like, too much has happened to you.
Right.
Like,
I'm too messed up.
yeah, I'm too messed up. I'm too
I've been
messed up.
there. I've been there thinking like maybe I'm not going to be a parent
Yeah.
because my childhood was so traumatic that what am I going to bring to this child?
Yep.
But I think that's the work. That is exactly the
Completely.
work
Exactly.
of saying,
Completely.
how can I heal? Because this ends with me.
Right.
Right.
This cycle ends with me.
Right. And I was just talking to a girl this morning who her parents' relationship is hugely dysfunctional and traumatic. And then her mother's relationship was the same. So
Yes.
she's generationally.
It's
Yes.
all
and
generational.
It is
Yes.
generational. And so it's either conscious or subconscious. I mean, I met my husband, we met when we were 15. And then
What?
I
Yes.
know.
Having ice cream? Like, how do you get 15?
I was actually an ice cream girl. What? I worked at Baskin Robbins. I was scooping ice cream.
21 flavors, baby. 21 flavors.
31
flavors and 33 years of marriage?
Yeah.
Girl.
Wild.
Definitely Baskin Robbins.
She was scooping him up.
He came to scoop me up, and my boyfriend in high school was like, if Brad Pitt and Matt Damon had a baby, that was my boyfriend in high school.
What?
Yeah. He was
Is he still single?
and he's bald and he's fat and
Oh,
he
forget
won't
it.
go away. It's like,
You know what I've
dude, go
noticed?
away.
You know what I've noticed? Those guys that are when they're young,
Yes.
super beautiful,
Yeah.
they age terribly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. 100%. And
Because
that's
baby
what happened.
Jesus doesn't let you get rid of that. He's like, listen, it's only rented. Blockbuster, give it back all day long. All day long. Remember when you were in high school?
Yeah.
I used to be like fat and chubby and like acne, horrible teeth, like everything was bad. And then all those people that were like super hot in high school are on Facebook being like, hi, what's up? I'm like, you have 5 kids and you work at CVS. Like,
Yeah, get
we're
lost.
not doing this.
Get
Yeah.
lost.
This is not happening.
But like for us women is different, I feel. But for men,
oh, we
when they're
glow up. We glow up.
Yeah, we
completely
do.
glow up.
We
But
do.
for men, when they're
It
so
can go
beautiful,
bad. It can go real bad.
I mean,
And
except for your husband, though.
no, but you know what? I wasn't into him. He was like 135 pounds. He was a little
Super
more
skinny.
ginger than brown. He is a little bit frank. But I was always an athlete. I grew up with athletes. I was
Nice.
always like into the athlete
Strong.
thing. Yeah. And so his best friend actually is how we met, because Yannick didn't go to my high school. His friend went to my high school. So that's how we met. So his best friend brought Yannick as backup because he wanted to take me out.
You see, never bring someone to back you up. You're gonna take the girl
That's
from
another
you.
conversation. Can you really be friends without
Right.
That's a
Same
second
goes for
conversation.
women, as we know.
I know.
No, of course.
Can
Can you believe? Okay.
No, okay, tell me. There's
never.
there's obviously something behind this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you be friends? Can 2 adult heterosexual people be friends and just friends?
Men and women?
Yes.
Opposite sex?
No, there's always going to be an interest.
Really?
After you can go beyond that, but a man and a woman to just be friends, the first interest.
The man is always thinking.
And the woman, the first interest is always visceral. Are you attracted to this person? There's always going to be someone that's going to want to have sex, and especially the man. The sex is
Especially
always going to be behind. Once they get past that,
Like
then
they know that they're friend zoned.
they know that they're friends, but the man is always going to have the sexual interest. If she says, you know what, let's make out, they're gonna
He's
do
always
it.
gonna say yes.
100%. 100%.
Like looking through the Rolodex of guy friends I have. I'm like,
100%.
You're like, oh, which one do I want?
No,
How do you
none.
think I got?
None?
How
Oh,
do you
geez.
think I got fuck buddies?
Mm.
We're friends.
let me write that down. I'm sorry.
But you said none of your friends. Oh my God, we can't say that none of your friends would make adequate fuck buddies because what if they listen to this? Their feelings are gonna be hurt.
That's okay.
She's okay with that.
Okay,
I'm okay
No,
with
we've
that.
talked about that.
And why do you care about their feelings anyway?
Once you're friend zoned, you're friends.
You're friends.
At least for
I'm
me.
telling you, you can find friends that in their friend zone that they can be your fuck buddies.
Maybe
Still
if
be in the friend zone.
Maybe if I make them like going forward. I don't have any in my Rolodex now. That would.
That's what she's. Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe keep your eyes open to a potential friend who could become a fuck buddy.
I told her,
a relationship.
in her case, I need her to have at least 2.
Yeah, because I get emotionally attached.
Because she get emotionally attached.
When's your birthday?
3/3.
She's Pisces like
I'm
me.
a Pisces, but
Yeah.
I'm Pisces, Cancer, Pisces. I'm fucked.
Yeah, she's
a
whole.
yeah,
she's
you're so
a bowl
that's
of water.
good though.
No.
You're emotional. You're really
So
available. You're emotionally available.
I'm just like here.
We'll call it we won't make it negative.
No,
Let's
it's beautiful.
Let's put
It's
some
beautiful.
toxic positivity on
Yeah,
that. I'm just kidding.
Let's go there.
No, it's beautiful.
No, 2 of my daughters are Pisces. In fact, it's so interesting. I find in my life we have so many Pisces females. Like
I'm Pisces.
yeah, I know. You're Pisces. 2 of my daughters are Pisces. My niece is a Pisces.
You're getting drowned by us.
Yeah, but I get along well with Pisces.
Yes.
As a Gemini, we get along well.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't.
Interesting, right?
But I also have a ton of Aries in my life.
That's where
Aries
we get
female.
along.
Yeah.
That's where we get along with Aries
Oh,
and
yeah.
Pisces.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I don't know that. So
So we were going back to you and Yannick.
Oh,
that,
geez, yeah,
because you were going.
way over.
His friend brought him over.
Yeah,
to back him up.
To back him up. And so then, Yannick was like, oh, shoot.
Buddy.
Yeah. He's like, well, I don't think either of us are getting this girl. and they didn't. They didn't for a real long time. And then
Is that the trick?
what?
To find a husband?
Yeah, when you're 15.
I mean, in general.
When you're 15.
This is true. You weren't even interested in dating at all.
No, I wasn't.
Oh,
no,
that's
well, I
really
had a
okay.
boyfriend. I was in high school. I had
Yeah.
that. I had that Matt Damon Brad Pitt boy.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Baldy.
yeah, who's now bald and yeah. Anyway, so years went by and he was already successful as an actor, right? So he would show up on the school property and girls would be like, oh my God,
Right.
Yannick's here, and they would run to the bathroom.
They'd be like, I'm sorry, I dropped my book.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, this guy again. Oh my God.
So annoying.
So I, at 16, was dancing at a school show, which he saw me dance at. And that particular talent show, there was an agent and casting person in the audience, and they picked me out of the audience. They're like, we want you to be an actress. And I was like, oh my God, it's happening. Oh my God.
I always
You had the dream that you got discovered, literally.
And I manifested it. And then I was like, that's it. Here, it's gonna happen. My name's gonna be in lights. I'm not gonna have kids because I'm not gonna be good at it anyway, and I'm gonna be in Hollywood, and I'm gonna have so many lovers.
Renee Zellweger, who?
Yeah, please.
And the universe had
and then
a whole other plan.
Yeah,
not getting married.
At 18, we had an audition together where we had to play boyfriend and girlfriend. I knew that we were reading together, and he didn't. And I had picked up a girlfriend at the airport whose flight was delayed by like 40 minutes or something crazy. So I was really late to the audition. And as I was running in, he was sitting right at the door. And I said, oh my God, Yannick, I'm so sorry I kept you waiting. But I just have to go to the bathroom because I just came from the airport. Run. And he had his 2 roommates who were also actors sitting beside me. He goes, what is with that chick? She thinks I'm sitting here waiting for her. He had no idea.
Oh,
we were going in together.
Ya está loca.
Yeah.
He
He was like, how does she know I've liked her since we were 15, right? So we go in, for a Pepsi commercial, we have to kiss, play boyfriend and girlfriend. And I was like, oh,
Pepsi,
God.
refreshing.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I was babysitting, had my boyfriend, I'm breaking all the rules. Anyway, so we did. And then as we were coming out, I was like, oh shoot, he's actually hot. He's really good at that. So I was like,
So there was chemistry there.
Chemistry, so much. And then as we were coming out, the casting agent grabbed me and goes, we're out of girls, so we need to keep you, and you got to read with 4 other guys.
Oh my!
You have to make out with 4 other guys?
Back in the day. Now that would be a sexual harassment. Assault. You can't do that anymore. You can't do that. But like full of makeout. Anyway, one guy, I'm not gonna say his name, but one guy was so aggressive. Like he was like going for it. I'm like, this like really could be an assault.
Bruce Willis
charge.
really did it for you.
Oh my God, Bruce Willis.
What?
No, it was not.
Okay,
No.
I was like, okay, I'm done.
No, know.
I'm done.
Bruce
in
wouldn't-
Canada.
It was
Canada.
Canada,
Yeah,
Canada.
but
And
I'm
honestly,
being
I don't
Keanu
think-
Reeves. It was Keanu Reeves.
No.
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine?
That
Oh,
would be
but he was
amazing.
kicking
I
around
still
that
love
time in
Keanu
Toronto.
Reeves.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure he would have been. But anyway, so long story short, that's what happened. We didn't get the commercial, but we got
You got-
each
there you
other.
go.
We got each other.
The universe had its plans.
I know, and in 4 months we were pregnant.
What?
He did not waste time.
No.
He
That
claimed
bottle
you.
pop.
Yeah, he was like, and then he's like, now we get married. I'm like, dude, we've only been together 4 months. Now we do not get married. Now we work this shit out. Let's see if we even like each other. Like, what are we? And then,
Right.
of course, I got pregnant, and as I was on the pill, I was a mad woman. And he was like,
Really?
and we didn't know, we didn't even know I was pregnant until we were like 11 weeks along.
Man, that was a strong ass egg.
It was like strong. It was like, I'm coming
It was
down.
like, yeah.
But I think it had more to do with like, it was the 80s. So we were like, his two roommates were in the restaurant business, and they were at the restaurant in Toronto that had the best blow. And so like we were high and drunk.
Right.
And it's like,
She was like, did I take it?
did I take my
Last
pill?
week? I
Yeah.
took it for sure.
For sure I took it. Well, obviously, yeah, I was not taking it regularly. So, so it was an adventure, and I obviously, just based on where I came from, and he came from a weird upbringing too. Neither of us really thought we'd be any good at it. So what we did, instead of giving into that notion that maybe we won't be good at it, we committed ourselves to get good at it.
That's
Right.
Get
beautiful.
good at being in a relationship.
Right.
Get good at raising
Because
kids.
it's work. It doesn't just
is.
happen.
Oh,
I feel like
no.
we need to normalize also those conversations of like, hey, listen, this is going to be a bumpy ride, but
Yeah.
are you strapped on? I am.
Right.
Let's go.
Well, this is the thing, right? Like, people are willing to work at staying in shape.
yes.
People are willing
Yes.
to
Yes.
prioritize their
Career.
health and their career, but they're like, that gets a little rocky in their relationship.
because
and
it's romanticized. You romanticize
Yes.
everything
Yeah.
in life.
Well,
Oh,
I mean,
this is
Disney,
it's
right? The
Disney.
happily ever after. But here's the thing
Very
also.
true.
Right now, maybe not so much back in the day when you guys got married, but I think right now it's so easy.
People are
There's so many
disposable.
options. Like,
oh,
People
this
are
is not working.
disposable.
I'm done. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many
well,
options
and on
available to
Instagram,
people.
you're watching everybody's highlight reel, right? Like, I
Right.
mean, like, we saw, just even going back to the Carter, we saw Chloe freak out because the picture that she didn't have
Yes.
I
any
can't.
control over, presenting as she likes to be. And granted, when people are that mean to you that often, that regularly, I get why you freak out. I get why
Right.
you freak out. So I respect that and it's her right to put herself forward however the hell she wants.
Right.
But for me, the whole thing is that what ends up happening is that there's no sense of reality. And so
no.
guys see a girl on their Instagram, and I have these conversations with my daughters, my youngest, who's really in the thick of like guys like swipe right, who
Right.
like
Yep.
they don't, they're
It's
not.
disposable. It's disposable.
Yeah,
People are
and-
disposable.
And then they look at girls when they see them in the flesh, and they're like, oh, but that girl on Instagram looks like, no,
That's
asshole.
not real.
She doesn't look
She
that
doesn't
way
look-
in
exactly.
real life.
Yeah.
The girl that you're sitting with, she probably looks like that, or
Better.
better, or
Right.
or not as good. And so it's just like this whole thing. And I always said to my girls in their relationships is like, listen, like when they would have conflicts with friends or boyfriends, and it was like the kind of the same narrative. It was the same conflict over and over. It's like, okay, but everywhere you go, there you go. You're always
Exactly.
where you are. So is it really you? Or is it really them? Or is it you? Like,
Exactly.
always look at what you're
What
bringing.
you're bringing to the table. 100%.
What I was
both positive
realizing-
and negative.
What I was also realizing in this during COVID, I did a lot of this work,
Mhm.
which was what am I looking or what am I hearing through my trauma glasses, right?
Mm.
Because I would test this out with another girlfriend of mine. I'd be like, this is what this guy told me. And she'd be like, oh, that sounds normal. And I was like, this is how I heard it.
100%.
Because
yes.
it's not just what people are saying. It's how
you
you
receive it.
in that
Completely.
moment,
Yeah.
what is affecting you. And that's how you
Completely.
Yeah.
receive it. And so I
Yeah.
think also that's back to your point, that's the work. It's like, what emotional space am I in right now that's bothering me? What is that triggering in
Yeah,
me?
100%. And and this is the thing is like in relationships, there's there's the different seasons, right? Like usually when you first get together, it's the hot, the heavy, the
Right.
romance, and it's like there are no problems because you're just so sexually charged and it's all new and it's all
Right.
exciting
All the hormones.
and all the hormones. And then usually from there, you go into.
Except that they're doing that with 2 or 3 other people now. So really.
I know.
So it's all different. It's all
Yeah.
what anyone knew of romance. It's completely gone. And so I think we
Internet
just,
killed it.
internet
Internet killed
killed it.
romance.
Yeah.
And so I think what Kat and I have been discussing in that topic is like you kind of have to take it way old school and make them wait. Because
Yes.
the minute you're just giving into that romance, because you're like, oh, it's fine. He thinks I'm great. He thinks I'm the most amazing thing ever. He's talking to 3 other girls and telling them
Absolutely,
the
but
same
And I
here's-
blame The
thing.
Bachelor for that. Not even just
Oh,
the
completely.
internet.
I hate
that show.
I
That show is
believe
awful.
I blame the Bachelor franchise because when you're grown up and you're formed, you get that is a reality show.
Then men choose us.
But when you're little
So you're begging a
and
man
you're
to choose
9
you.
and 10, you're going to live in a house with 30 other women and fight.
And you're going to allow.
And beg this
Yeah,
man to
and
choose
beg
you.
this-
Yes.
These women are crying, begging to be chosen.
Right, but the reality is those women aren't actually
No, they're
wanting
not.
to be chosen. They're trying to build a career.
A
They're trying to
career,
build a brand.
100%.
They're trying to be
But
the next
girls
Kardashian.
sitting at home watching it don't
100%.
receive it like that because you don't have the mental development when you're little to say, "Oh, this is fake. This is like
They can't
this is
discern.
entertainment."
Absolutely. They
can't
cannot discern. But
Mhm.
here's where they're perpetuating the Disney story of
Yes.
the
Yeah.
prince
Romance.
that has
Yeah.
all these women, but he chooses you
Because you're special.
because you're special.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
You're not special.
You're not special.
You know what the best
Actually,
pussy is?
The
New
pussy he's
pussy.
never had.
New pussy.
Yeah. New
Well,
pussy
it's
is
like the
always
same
best
thing. You know what
pussy.
the best blowjob is? The worst one I ever had was the best blowjob, right? Like it's the same thing. It's like it's all
Period.
good. Right? It's all
Period.
good.
But
It's
yeah,
all
But you
good.
convince yourself that I'm the one. Oh my
I
god,
know.
he's gonna be like, I'm amazing.
Yeah.
Well, there will be. Come on,
And I'm going to
We-
change him.
Well, you can't change people,
No.
but you gotta know that at some point you are somebody's person, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And the
Yes.
reality is that you're that person's person because every day they decide that you are
It's
the
a choice,
person.
100%.
And that's you said it. That's
I've
it.
always
They
said it's
have
a
to be.
choice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have to be
Yeah.
ready to
100%.
commit to you.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
And you have to be ready to commit to them
Of
too,
course.
right?
Yes.
Because the thing of it is, and I
It's
you know,
timing too. It's
yeah,
all
I
timing.
always say that, you know, this is the wife in me talking.
Please, we need to listen to. There,
yes.
We never talk about wife. We talk about the opposite in the show.
Yeah.
Fuck
Well,
that. Run.
You know, yeah, right. You know, and then I take issue with, you know, because obviously we've been together 33 years. We've had shit, right? Like there's been infidelity for sure. Not in many years. We separated at 16 years and we worked that shit out. We got back together and it's been good ever since. Like, I mean, good in that it's been fully committed loyalty, right?
Right.
Prior to that, not so great. But I always took issue with women knowing that someone's spoken for.
Oh.
Going back to your point of, you know, having friends with benefits and that,
Right.
like, you cannot have sex with a woman who doesn't want to have sex with you.
Exactly.
Because if a man has sex with a woman who doesn't want to have sex, that's rape.
Completely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So if
Completely.
women would respect that sisterhood, that is
Yes.
somebody's person,
Yes.
Oh, you mean like
and
someone
not
to commit
have
it? Yeah.
Yes.
if that person's got a
Absolutely.
ring on his hand, no matter if he's trying to get down with
Yes,
you,
that's
hard.
hard.
respect that sisterhood
Yes.
and don't cross that line.
No.
Because the reality is that you don't want to be that, you don't want to drive that wedge in a relationship. I believe in karma, so that's that.
Me too.
But you know, I feel like if women would really stand with one another and not go on The Bachelor,
Yes.
it would come to an end because a man can't do something
you don't let him-
sexually
yeah.
If
to
you don't
a
allow them,
woman
absolutely.
that she doesn't allow.
But here's the
Because-
thing. I think also society has educated us in a way that we're not supposed to be friends. We're competition.
There's one spot. You got to fight for it.
Exactly.
Bullshit.
Men don't do
That's
that.
the
No,
narrative.
there's enough CEO job. You know, there's
That's the
enough CEO
narrative.
positions for
That's
men
the
to have
narrative.
them all.
Women are, if you sleep with X amount of men, like you're a hoe. Forget
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah,
but if
that's-
a guy does it,
Daily.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And if he
Oh my
does
God,
it,
he's a stud.
okay, but let me ask this question: how come if a man has 100 sexual partners,
He's good.
he's
He's experienced
automatically going to be great in
in bed. Yes.
But if a woman has 100 sexual partners, she's a slut, and you run for this. Kiss my ass. No, but you know what I mean? Like I'm so sick and tired
Completely.
of that double standard. And another double standard I'm sick and tired of, and I don't know how we fix this one, but I was reading a book
We
this
just
morning.
burn all men.
Is that I just realized this morning that also too, you know what? There are no female late night talk show hosts. I mean, there's
Nope.
Lily
We're trying to
Singh
fix
who's
that.
late.
That's we're
Right.
hopefully us.
Put us
Yeah.
in. Put us in, coach.
You know what I mean? But I'm like, as somebody who loves to talk, I'm like, why are women relegated
Because
to
we're not supposed to be funny. We're not
daytime.
supposed to be
We're-
funny.
yeah.
We're not supposed to be raunchy. It's not a ladylike thing.
Yes,
It's
we're not
bullshit.
supposed to be funny and interesting. We're supposed to agree with whatever the men say.
Yeah, we need to
But
turn
period.
that struck me this morning when I was doing my reading and my meditating. I'm like, this needs to change. This is something that has to change because
Yeah.
why do women only get to talk during the day
We had it
and the
for
men
a
get the
moment.
serious conversations?
Right. We had it for a moment
Chelsea
with Chelsea
lately.
lately.
But that was like
early.
yeah, and it
Yeah.
was like Netflix. It's not
But
broadcast.
also too, let's be honest, like Chelsea wasn't really doing the man's night talk show
No,
game,
she
right?
wasn't. It
She was
was
doing
the
her own thing,
entertainment, yeah.
which was great. But I'm saying, like, I would love to see. Let's split it 50-50. Let's talk about, equality in the film industry and like women being paid equal. But let's talk about that. Why do the men have all the talk shows at night? I think we
Right.
need to that's something we need to make happen.
Well, because
is,
they
like,
make all the
50-50.
decisions, all the producers, all the directors,
Yeah.
all the things
Yeah.
are
Well,
men choosing those
Yeah.
things.
And it also goes back to international distributions. When you're trying to sell a film, the first thing they say, who is your lead
Yeah.
actor?
Yeah.
Because the lead actor is the one that's going to sell your film. So it's like an old system,
Yeah,
old Hollywood
it's-
system.
But here's
It's
the thing: if we
antiquated.
keep doing it the same way, it's going to keep functioning the same
100%.
way. So
yes,
it's going to
it's
take
changing.
someone.
It's
Yeah.
changing little by little.
Yeah.
But it's gonna take us keep pushing.
Yeah,
you
we
know?
have to push
And
so that
Going back
those
to
who come be-
going back to the marriage conversation.
Mhm.
Have you guys established some like ground rules of communication? Like, what have you guys done to make communication the center of your marriage?
Well, I mean, I think we did something really good, like really positive years ago was that we made each other a priority and we made our time together that had to happen no matter what. And I do talk about that in my book a lot. And in fact, every chapter ends
What's
with
the name of your book?
raising your kids without losing your cool.
And you're writing a new one.
It's done, yeah. Parenting your teen without losing your cool comes out
Ooh.
May 26th.
There you go.
And it's so funny. So in my book, I talk about, and what's really cool about my book and what I'm most proud of is that, yeah, I don't have any letters after my name. Like I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a child's coach, any of that shit. But I've lived it and I've done it, right? And
Yeah.
and against all odds, because really I should have been on the corner as an addict like my father and with all my trauma, right? So I'm proud of my accomplishments
Of
of
course.
being able to raise 3 healthy, strong women. But I talk about in my book, it's like so many people, when I was going back to the seasons of a relationship, like you get together and it's hot and it's heavy and it's romantic and it's all these things. And then you go to the next stage of planning, which might be, hey, we're getting married. So then you go on to the planning the marriage. And then that's center stage. And then what slowly starts to happen in relationships is you stop having a relationship and you're just busy doing the next thing, right?
Coexisting.
Yeah. Well, yeah, not even coexisting. So all of a sudden your relationship gets taken off the two of you and it becomes about like, oh, marriage, planning
Kids.
that,
Yeah.
and then the house, and then the kids. And then before you know it, you're not having sex anymore.
Right.
You're
Like
not
an
even talking.
automatic
Yeah,
pilot,
you're not even
yeah.
talking anymore. And this is where the opportunity comes in for somebody else to step into the
Right.
relationship, right? So in my book, every chapter, I'm like, remember, final things to nibble. Have sex. Have sex. Have sex. Even when you don't want to have sex. Have sex.
sex.
Connection,
Have sex.
right?
Connection.
Yeah.
And keep it an important part of your relationship. Because if you do your job right, if you read my book and you raise your kids well,
Your job right.
they're gonna leave.
Yes.
Right.
And guess what happens? If you haven't taken care of your primary relationship, because people have kids and all of a sudden the kid's the primary relationship.
Yes.
That's fucked up. No, your child is not your primary relationship.
Yes.
Your partnership is your primary relationship.
Right.
Your children are an extension of said relationship.
Right.
They're not, they don't replace that relationship. That's why you will never catch me with the family bed. That is
Right.
like,
But that was like a badge women would wear for a long
Yeah,
time. My kids are number one. My
Yeah,
kids are number one.
Absolutely.
Where are you? You
Yeah.
should be number
Well,
one.
first
and
off-
then the husband.
Exactly.
Let's go back there.
Let's go back there. And that's so interesting because, yeah, I wrote the kid book and then I wrote the teen book and I was getting ready to write the third book because a lot of people were like, what about the relationship one? You guys have done it. You've done it well. And I'm like, so I was getting ready to write that and I thought, wait a minute. I'm perpetuating that whole cycle. I've written about how to be a great mom to your kids, how to manage your teens. And then within those books, it's talking about how to nurture your marriage and your primary relationship
Right.
while you're doing all these other things. I was like, bitch is going to write about prioritize yourself.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's
And
the
we're
book
talking-
I'm writing right now
Yes.
because the reality is like you do get so busy taking care of everybody else that you completely fall by the
Am I
wayside.
loving myself? If you're not loving
Yeah.
yourself, nothing works.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nothing. You're
No
not
matter how much you
nothing.
try to, you put makeup and
Yeah.
it doesn't matter because you're not fulfilling yourself.
At all. So, and it was so funny because somebody reviewed my book and her comment was, first off, she said, I swear too much. And that,
Great, we
I
love
love
it.
it.
and that
I
mom
love it.
shouldn't swear. And I'm like, well, then your kids are not big enough.
I think you're not swearing. You're not swearing enough on the show. I'm going to cancel
I don't
you.
trust people. I don't trust people that don't swear.
Right?
Me neither.
Don't trust them.
Right?
Actually, do you know that there's a study
Yes.
that people that swear, they're actually smarter?
Yeah. And
Yes.
that are honest.
Yeah.
And they're, and more truthful. So that was one of her comments. And the other one was like, she didn't like how much emphasis I put on having sex. And I was like, oh, so
How much are you having then? Okay,
you're
great, thanks.
obviously not having enough.
Completely.
But it's true. It's like, because a lot of times for women, and I think we forget that we're sexual beings,
Yes.
that we like
Yes.
sex.
I've always said that.
We're not just somebody's partner. We're not just somebody's mother, right? So I talk about have sex because it's one of the best things of life. Like when life is shitty and it gets shitty a lot,
Yes.
it's like sex is one of the most beautiful
Therapeutic.
things and
Yeah.
Yes, it's
therapeutic
very
and
healing.
healing and like
And also it's a sure sign of something is not right.
Yeah.
Why do I not want to have sex? Well, what's
Yeah,
going on?
absolutely.
It's a moment to introspect, being like, what is it that's missing from me?
Yeah.
And it
that I
could
don't
be,
wanna have
and it
sex?
could even be something health related.
Sure.
There's something that
it could be
off-
hormonal.
Yes,
I mean, most of
100%.
the time it is hormonal.
Well, for me, I was going out with someone. I had a boyfriend and things weren't going well, but I wasn't accepting it.
Yeah.
Right.
And we couldn't have sex anymore. It was too painful for me. And I couldn't figure it out. I went to the doctor and she was like,
Oh,
you're fine, you're fine, you're
wow.
fine. We broke up a month after that. And then my
So
therapist
your
was
body
like,
wouldn't
yes.
even receive
Your
it.
body was
body
rejecting it.
knows. Your
Yes.
body knows before you do.
Completely.
Well, right, because that's what we have is only our instincts, right? And
Yep.
and
And
so
we're-
many of
we're-
us stop
and women,
listening to them.
Exactly.
But-
We don't listen anymore. Everything is,
don't.
that's what I was
Yeah.
saying. The relationship between men and women, it's always going to be visceral. Someone's
Yeah.
always going to want to have sex. What gets you attracted to this person? What moves us in life, whether we like it or
Sex.
not, is sex.
Yes.
Everything
You work
Yep.
because of
is,
sex.
everything is
You go to the
sex.
gym because of sex.
You get
wake
enough
up in the
face
morning
for
because of
sex.
sex.
Sex makes the world go round.
I agree.
Sex
I
is
agree.
what makes you
Yeah.
wakes
Everything
you
in
up
life.
every single day.
Well, yeah, and also too, it's like, who decided that it was bad and dirty for women to enjoy sex, right? So I'm here to normalize it. I mean, my girls can attest to it, like walk around naked, talk about it. I mean, they don't like it, but I think inwardly they do, because it helps them as women to appreciate their own sexuality and be
Absolutely.
free with it and
Yeah.
embrace it, because the reality is it's like it's the most natural thing.
Absolutely.
And then when you've got like half of the government telling you it's bad
Oh,
and
God.
dirty and shameful and wrong,
that's when
and
you have to do it more.
I have to do it more, right?
Here's the thing:
So-
if you don't control it, others will control it for you.
Completely.
And
Yeah.
so to give them free reign of saying, this is your body, you control how you feel about it, you control how others see you, you
Yeah.
control all that stuff, and then the external world cannot do that for you.
yeah, 100%.
Now, we were talking about, because of course you come from the marriage side, being 33 years married.
Yeah.
Um, if you were to ever, I mean, knock on wood, hope it never happens,
Yeah.
because you guys actually have a really cool relationship. I mean, I saw that photo that he posted of you. So she
Oh,
sent him a private photo,
Uh-huh.
and he posted, and it was her like in underwear or something
No,
like
I'm
that.
in bikini. I was getting,
bikini.
and so not even tanned for starters.
How dare you?
But it was like a really cool photo, and he posted it. I mean, this is
Aw.
the cool relationship
He's like, that's
that
my
they had. Is like,
hot wife.
honey, get your ass in here.
Get
back
your ass home, because he's in Toronto, right? We haven't
Yeah.
seen each other for a month.
So
but yeah.
clearly, you have a very successful, amazing relationship with your husband. But if you weren't married, or let's say for whatever reason, again, knock on wood,
Yeah.
God forbid,
Yeah.
you guys get divorced.
Yeah.
Would you go through this again? Because
Fuck no.
mine
Girl,
stands in.
I'm exhausted.
We've talked about
No,
this.
I would not.
I
We
don't
talked about
wanna-
it.
yeah.
Dating
Yeah,
now
I
is
don't want to
awful.
get married.
Dating
I
now
don't want
is
to have
awful.
kids.
Yep.
I
No.
get tired after the third date. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
so
bored.
done.
I'm bored.
bored.
No, I mean, for me, I feel like, and again, I hate, but I'm going to be 52. So there's a lot about me that's very old fashioned, that's very traditional. And I talk about it in my book about parenting and discipline. You know, we hold athletes to such high, like we revere
Standards,
them,
yes.
Oh,
right? And we're like,
absolutely.
we bow down and we admire them. We wear their numbers on our back, but we don't want to discipline our own fucking kids. Well, how do you think you get an athlete? How do you think you
Right.
get somebody who goes and wins the Super
Right.
Bowl 7,000 times? Well,
Yeah.
you discipline them and you teach them about not everybody gets a ribbon, Jimmy. Sometimes you fall on your face and you're
Also,
If
make
you
a
ain't
decision.
first, you're last.
yeah.
If
There's
you ain't first, you're last.
Yeah.
there's like Jerry Seinfeld, right?
No. This
Remember
is
when he said that? He's like
this Talladega Nights. Talladega
right,
Nights.
Talladega Nights. But Jerry Seinfeld has a joke about that too. He's like, "Yo, okay, congratulations, you're the silver medalist, so you're the closest loser.
Yeah. That's a good
You're
one.
the closest loser." And I'm like,
Sorry,
"Yeah,
Sally.
sorry, Sally, you're the closest." But no, I totally got off track. Oh, about the no, I would not because
Yeah.
for me, traditionally speaking, I feel like marriage is an institution for a family.
Yes.
Right.
And if you don't
I like that,
intend on
actually.
having a family,
Right.
why are you getting married? It is a lot of work. Sometimes it's thankless work, and sometimes it's not
Yes.
worth the work.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I would never, ever, I would be very selective, but I would have lovers and I would have
Absolutely.
companions to
Companionship,
trip
yeah.
on.
Absolutely.
But
That's
also, too, my daughters are my 3 favorite people on the planet.
Yeah, you're good. You're
I
set.
have a
She
lot of-
created her. She created
my
her
crew.
companionship.
Yeah, my
favorite
companions.
people.
So I would be like, yo, do you guys want to go? Which one of you is free to go to Hawaii? You know what I mean?
let's
Like,
go.
let's do
Do
it.
it.
And they're literally my favorite people. I would
Right.
rather go have a trip with them than some strange guy that I got to put up with. And I'm like, is the sex even good? Like, are we getting
Probably
this?
not.
Are we
Right.
getting this? You know what I
Right,
mean? Like, what are
right.
we getting?
Well,
I mean,
not only
odds
that,
are-
but
odds
not only
are.
that, but do they know how to use it? Because that's something else.
That's something. Well, if he's had 100 lovers, he's probably really good with it.
No, sometimes we know that there's some that.
I know that was hard.
But no, I would never. I would not. I wouldn't do it again. No, I wouldn't do it again.
Now,
It's exhausting.
also you coming from the marriage from a world of being married, I'm sure most of your friends are married. Like, what's the conversation when they're around women? We would be the femme fatales because we're the threat because we're single. Like,
Yeah.
what's the conversation? I know that some
Look at
women
that
are like,
sloppy bitch. They just like
no,
talk shit
no,
about
no,
us.
it's like that, oh,
Well,
poor single girl.
no, you know
or
what?
Like that bitch.
I have to tell you that I don't associate with girls like that. So my female tribe is very small. I don't have time for bullshit.
Yeah, the
And like I
smaller
said, I
thread.
have my 3 girls, so I get a lot of my feminine energy and a lot of that companionship with them and through them. So like if my girls call and they're like, do you want to have lunch? And I already have lunch plans.
Oh, yeah.
The likelihood that you're getting a text to say, I got to push you is like
Yeah.
99%
Yeah.
likelihood.
My girls first.
Thank
Yeah.
God I didn't get pushed.
No,
for that
you didn't
brunch.
get pushed. You didn't. No.
They were busy.
Yeah.
They were
No,
busy
she
in
came.
Hawaii.
Actually, she came.
No, she came.
She
Oh,
came. She
perfect.
came.
Yeah. It was so much
Yeah,
fun.
so much fun. And that's the other thing too, right? And I talk about it in my book. If you raise them well, everybody else will like them too.
Yes.
And you can bring them around.
Absolutely.
Do you know? I mean, our girls grew up in film sets because when Yannick was filming, it was often not in a country where we had family. We
Right.
had to go to set.
That's beautiful.
And so they would be like on his piggybacking, while he was setting up a shot. We have so many cute photos of our girls sitting behind the camera, the director, it's so adorable. But it's really, this is what it's about. Like, and I think that what we have happening in society right now is we have fast food knowledge, right? We live in a fast food
interest
Yes.
too.
yeah, and fast food interest where you don't go that extra mile to build depth.
No.
So I think what we're seeing it in our parenting.
Mhm.
Parents are sloppy. They're losing interest. They're leaving a lot to everybody else. It's like, coming down on teachers for you raise your own goddamn children.
Yes.
Your teachers are there to teach, not to raise your children.
They're already
That's
not getting
their
paid
job.
enough.
Yeah,
Poor
they
teachers.
already don't
Exactly.
get paid enough. So, I talk a lot at nauseum about it, but it makes me crazy that people have this sort of idea that everything should happen quickly and
Yes.
that if it doesn't, they give up.
Mhm.
Yes.
So there's
seamless.
There's a lack of work. Yeah.
They think that everything, like, oh my God, this is not moving seamlessly. It's
Yeah.
too difficult.
it's
I'm
too
gonna
difficult,
go.
and I'm gonna go over there.
Right.
And I would like to see, and I'm. It's kind of what initially happened. I think with the pandemic is that you noticed a lot of people dialing it back and digging deeper into
Yes.
self, right? And then kind of trying to figure out what really matters. And hopefully,
we
most
couldn't
of us
we couldn't get out, so we went in.
right. Yeah, and hopefully most people retain whatever that is they uncovered.
Yes.
I'm hopeful for that. But yeah, I think, the reality for me is just that the understanding that you've got to be fluid in life. You've got to be
Yes.
willing to accept people where they're at and how they
Yes.
come to you rather than and it's taken me a long time to get this because I'm a Gemini A type person, OCD, and then all my trauma, right? Like there's this, I try to put everything in a box so that I can control it. Cause then if you can
It's
control it,
control.
you
Right.
can control the
Yeah,
outcome.
but that's
So
an illusion, though, as we
It's
know.
totally
Right.
an illusion.
But
It's
trauma
totally,
makes you want control
Oh,
because you
completely.
didn't as a
yeah, you
child.
didn't
I
have it.
struggle with that as well.
Right.
If I can control it, it makes me mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Insane. We just don't know what's going to happen from day to day. And so often we walk through life like we know,
Yes.
right? And that we have. So here I am going along my business, and Yannick's like, "Oh, I got hired to direct this Lifetime Christmas
Yes.
movie and to star in it. But the problem is it's shooting before Murdoch, because when he goes back to Murdoch, that's it. Nobody can have him. So he had to leave a month before me. And what I realized, so the week before he was leaving, like I was weepy, like I was like beside myself. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I really love him right now. Like I'm
Right.
really in
Right.
love with him more than usual. And then what was revealed to me when he actually was gone the first day is that I moved out of my mom's house at 18 and I moved in immediately with him. And after being
Right.
with him, even when he had to go away and film, if I were alone, I was never alone because we had a baby right
Right.
away. And I always had a big dog. Well, they took my big dog, my boxer, because he was he's a good babysitter to my youngest daughter's
Mhm.
puppy. So they took him to help them on their end because he's going to be directing and starring, and our
Right.
daughter's also in the movie. And it was the first time since all my childhood trauma, which all the trauma took place in my house
Mhm.
when I was alone, that I
Wow.
realized I wasn't
Right.
crying because he was leaving. I
Right.
was crying because it was the first, on a cellular level, my body was like, oh my God, like that.
Yeah.
And all that
Yes.
trauma
Yes.
came. And I realized that even though I'd healed all I've forgiven and let all
Right.
that stuff go, on a cellular level, your body's still holding
Right.
on to stuff.
Yes.
Your body
Your
keeps
body
the score.
remembers.
It
Yes.
keeps
There's
the
a
score.
book called Your Body Keeps the
Oh
Score.
my God, I should read
It's
that.
a great book.
Okay, I'm gonna remember your body keeps the score. So it then all circles back to the fact that we can't control anything
No.
actually,
Nothing.
and it's the same thing within our relationships, right? Like I think what
And I
happens.
tried. It doesn't work.
How did it go? No,
Yep. Did not
But
work.
you know what? And when we try to control other people, guess what? We're not happy either.
No, absolutely
No.
not.
And
It's
I didn't realize
yeah.
like the first 16 years of my marriage that he did he had his shit that he put on me, and I'm not taking responsibility for what he did and his choices,
Right. Right.
but I understand now what my part in that was.
Right.
Yes.
And I think so often in relationships, we're not willing to even look at our part as
No,
to why
right.
somebody might
And
have
that's why-
behaved a certain way
And
toward
that's why
us.
things
Right.
don't get healed. Because if you don't
100%.
take responsibility, you're the victim. As a victim, you never heal.
No,
Yeah.
it's easier to play, and that's another role that again, the movie, the
Yeah.
the
Yes.
narrative,
Poor
of
me,
society,
poor me.
poor me, I
And
need to
even
get rescued.
girlfriends.
No,
Even
I don't-
girlfriends.
Yes,
Yeah.
I don't need to be rescued. Like
Yeah.
I'm my own hero.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Exactly.
For me.
Which goes back to your point that you asked me a while ago, or you had brought up, like, what are your married girlfriends saying about
Oh,
hot,
yes.
successful,
Yeah.
strong women like you? Well, I wouldn't know because I don't hang with women like that. Because I may
Two
be
snaps.
married, but I am that bitch. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like I'm still that bitch. I still I'm
Been
out
that
there
bitch for a
hustling.
Do
little
you
while.
ever friends?
I'm out there, just,
Yes.
building an empire because I want my own damn empire. My
Fuck
husband's
yes.
successful, but I want my own empire.
And that's how
Yes.
it goes.
Thank
Is
you.
like that's also the thing about marriage that sometimes women get lost or people get lost into shuffle is that they become one person.
Right. They lose their own identity.
They lose their own
Right.
identity.
Yeah.
They do it for each other. And I think that's a dangerous road because you still have to advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
You still have to, am I loving myself right
Yeah.
now? What's happening in my life?
Yeah.
Am I loving myself? And that's
100%. And that's different for every person, right? Like
Right.
everybody's how they feel love for themselves is different, right?
course.
Like and I'm so sick and tired too of internet people being like, "Oh, she's Botox and this and that." So what?
So
If
what?
she look, I do all the things. I do all the things. I don't do it for my husband. I do it for me because
Period.
I like
Yeah.
to look at me in the mirror
And you
and
look
be like,
beautiful. This is
He
not like
looks
some
freaking
crazy
amazing.
"Thank
situation.
you." Well, the guy is a genius. I know.
Shantelle, where can we find your book, How to Raise Your Kids Without Losing Your Cool?
Okay, you can find it on my website, chantellebisson.com. And if you go to my website, I sign it and it's personalized.
Wow.
Or you can go on any of the Amazons because you can get an audio. I know a lot of people love to,
The
when they're
Audiobooks,
in their
yes.
car.
Audible's my jam.
I
You have such
actually,
a great voice, though. Yes.
and I had to audition to read my own book. I was
What?
like, yes. They're like,
Who
I'm
was
like,
judging?
oh, I got an audio deal. Awesome. So I can read. And they're like, oh, we were gonna hire. And I'm like, bitch, please no. I'm a recovering actress. I
Hello.
can read my own damn
And you're
book.
reading it with your intentions,
Exactly,
right?
exactly. So yeah, you can get it on audio, and you can hang out with me on Instagram. I don't go to Twitter very much because it's just like a dark hole of negativity.
Yeah, I deleted Twitter a long
Yeah, I
time
think
ago.
I'm going to. I think
It's a
I'm
vortex.
It is a vortex.
Yeah,
I
no.
haven't got enough hours in the day. So
What's your Instagram handle?
Shantelle Bisson with an S. Thanks, Mom.
Well, that was all for today. Shantelle, it was amazing having you. Thank you guys for being with us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and turn on the notification bell on, and stay tuned for our next episode.
And you can find us in all the ways that you do podcasts. So iTunes, Spotify, your mama's house. We don't care. Just download, like, and please, please, please leave us a nice comment. 4 stars, 5 stars, whatever you want. It helps other people find us.
Besos. Mwah.